On today's video, let's talk about competitive ARK of OSIRIS, OSIRIS League, OSIRIS Invitational, all that good stuff. Two very, very good tips for you guys as a team and as an individual. As a team, this will be a procedure you should implement in your team to guarantee you are ready to go and you're rocking it and you're good to go. And the second is a set of individual tips for the individual players to better optimize their gameplay, gain more points, potentially not waste time, and many other things to improve your gameplay. So if you're looking to be competitive in ARK of OSIRIS, you are starting your journey with ARK of OSIRIS, or you're looking to be the champion of OSIRIS, this video is for you. So sit back, drop a like on the video, and let's go. Hey there YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. Today, I'm gonna start this video by saying that, first of all, I apologize to all of you for my ups and downs in the content and all that good stuff. I got a raise at work a couple months ago. I thought it was great. Turns out that it was a trap. And now I have a lot more responsibilities, a lot more people counting on me, and all of a sudden, I pull 14-hour days consistently, and it's been throwing off my YouTube game. It's been throwing off my personal life. I apologize to all of you who have been looking for consistent content. I'm working on changing my day-to-day to be able to provide to you guys what you want. And I really thank you for sticking around with the channel, for dropping the likes, for subscribing, for sharing the videos with your alliance mates, teammates, kingdoms. Thank you very much. I'm working on it. It's going to get better. With that being said, let's start with the 30-minute procedure. 30-minute ready check mail. It's as simple as it sounds. Whoever is in charge of organizing ARK of OSIRIS, 30 minutes before the match, sends a ready check mail. A ready check mail is pretty simple. I don't think I can do it as a non-R4, but it's as simple as a ready check mail. Oh, I'm an R1 in JWM still. You send an email, 30-minute ready check. Please mark a V if you're here. And you can also let your alliance mates know that they have now 30 minutes to recall all their marches from pit, from standing on the open field, from gathering, from whatever it is. Ensure that you don't have war frenzy. Ensure that your hospital is empty. And ensure that all your buffs are on. 50%er, 25%er, defense, attack, whatever it is. You can also let them know that they need to make sure they have the correct skin on, they have everything ready to go, they have their presets all done. The 30-minute check mail is essentially a 30-minute warning for people to make sure they're ready. Now, you can take this step even further by letting your ARK members know that the expectation is for them to reply with a V within 5 minutes of it being sent. This gives 25 long minutes for the organizer to make sure the whole team is there and to work out a last-minute replacement if they have to. But it also is a great opportunity for the team to get together in Discord, talk through the strategy once more, make sure everybody knows what they need to do and don't have any questions, and just chill and bond as a team is always good. So the first thing in this video is the 30-minute check mail. I think that a lot of the competitive alliances already do this, but if you don't do it in yours, it's a great thing to ensure that your whole team is there on time. They're all ready to go. Nobody accidentally has war frenzy. Nobody forgot to empty their hospitals and now has 20, 30 days worth of healing to do in a moment without helps, without anything, which sucks. It guarantees everybody has all the buffs correctly. Now, yeah, you can turn on the buffs from inside ARK of OSIRIS. Regardless, most buffs are like 4 hours to 6 hours long. If you turn it on 30 minutes before the match, you'll have it through the match and more. And so no point in waiting for the last minute. Use the 30-minute check mail to let your team know what's going on, remind them what they need to do, get the team together, talk through the strategy one more time, chill for a little bit, and get into the match to slay. Now when it comes to individual plays, individuals on the map, more often than not, don't do micro optimizations. More often than not, you think you are as optimized as you can be, but the bottom line is You really aren't. Most players are not very well organized when it comes to having some basic, I'd call them best habits. So for me, I make sure the yellow presets are always ARK of OSIRIS, and that's one of those habits where I ensure that I know which march is in which part, for example, so that I don't need to think about it. So the first tip I have for you guys is start figuring out what are repetitive things you consistently do during ARK of OSIRIS, and make sure you know exactly how to do them, where every button is, where every little whistle and bell is. You do not want to think about these repetitive things. The idea is for you to practice some of the things that happen consistently, like sending a quick march out to a rally. You need to know which preset is the one you want. You don't want to find yourself clicking on the presets and in between someone else joined the rally. And now you have to go march and it's madness. When you know, for example, which troops stay where, or something that I've been personally working on, how to quick swap troops. One of the things that I notice people don't know what to do well is how to do the steps required. Once you build a certain pattern over and over, where you essentially take an altar or a pass or whatever it is, and it's the same thing in ARK of OSIRIS. The buttons are pretty much the same. If you get used to the sequence of things you need to do, you won't think about it. You'll do it without looking, and it'll improve your gameplay overall. By simply knowing where the buttons are, it's as simple as that. And when you know where everything is exactly, it's so much easier to quick swap march, to quick defend, to quick join rallies, to instantly catch your march walking home, because you know that when there's a march walking home, you need to send it to a gathering caravan or whatever not. So my first tip for you guys is work on repetitive procedures. Use an altar or a pass for reinforcements. Make sure you tell yourself, for example, cavalry, and then you click quickly on the cavalry one. Infantry, you click quickly on, and you remind yourself, again, practice these repetitive things, and that way you'll know exactly what you need to do and not have to think about it. Someone says send archer march, bam, -1. Send cavalry march, bam, -2. I don't even think about it. I'm just, okay, sent, done. Replace your marches quickly. What is it? What did you say? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I actually was, but I already did this. Why? Because I got used to consistently doing this. Now, I know that it says like this stream and subscribe, so we will very quickly get rid of that. Maybe not. We don't want to show the chat. Anyway, I left the overall from the stream. Don't sue me. Anyway, tip number 2. I know that this one is a little bit tough because some buildings don't have caravans near them. But having open field presence is important. AFKing a march near a building is definitely a waste of a march. The bottom line is, by the time your open field presence is required, there is going to be a little bit of a time for you to get ready. The point is, never have marches standing on the open field if you can. Sometimes you can't. In the center, there are very little nodes, so there's no choice. You have to do it. Next to the Shrine of War, or next to the Shrine of War is a great example, actually. There are much less caravans that there are near the Sky Altar or even the Obelisk. You want to try to make sure that your troops always stay within caravans and gathering. It's pretty easy because at the end of the day, that march will eventually march home. And so long as it's not killed inside the caravan, it will take the caravan, go join the rally or go join the defense. And whenever it marches home, you'll get those points. So the second tip is never have marches on the open field if you can avoid it. Yes, if you are sent to the center and you need to posture forward in the center, it is what it is. But if you're someone sitting outside your Sky Altar waiting for a rally that has a 4-minute march and you have 4 minutes of a heads up to get there to defend, you can definitely send that march out to go gather in a caravan nearby. It will require of you to keep paying attention to these things, and this is why tip number 3 comes in. Tip number 3 is have a set role, understand your role, and this ties to the previous one because one of those roles is the defender of the building. If you're assigned as someone who is in charge of the sky altar on your side, then it's your job to let people know in your team, rally coming in 4 minutes, we don't have enough open field presence, we don't have enough in the building, please do what you need to do. There are plenty of roles, from rally leaders to rally fillers to building swarmers to gatherers to open field swarmers to middle team to ARK carrier to ARK tanker, so forth and so on. You can come up with a lot of roles, but the bottom line is every single one of your teammates should have a role and should understand what's within their frame of responsibilities. That way you can know who is at fault for not doing certain things, as well as you can know that you did the best of your ability based on the role that you got. Dividing roles is a crucial way for you to ensure that within your team, people have responsibilities, people feel that sense of ownership, and people know what they need to do. It's not like, where do I go? What do I do? My final tip for you guys is one that I actually don't really understand why people don't do it. If you pay attention to gathering in general, more often than not, what ends up happening is if you click on a node or on a caravan, you click gather, what it does is it recommends to you the exact amount of troops that's needed for, well, not exactly the exact, but the closest amount of troops needed to get the load to clear the tile. We need 378, and this decided to send 381. Cool, no problem. Well, there is one problem. Ark of Osiris is a game mode that's all about time. Everything is about time, and the micro optimization comes when you say, how do I not waste time? The number one thing I see people wasting time on when it comes to gathering, believe it or not, is not necessarily the march to the caravan, but rather the march back. So my final tip for you guys is, if you have a gathering march or 2 or 5, I don't know what your role is, but if you're even gathering with one march, what you should be doing is you should be not sending the minimum amount of troops required. You should be sending the maximum amount of troops you can send. And you should not be sending them to the closest caravan to you, but rather very, very far away. And ideally, when that march is marching back to your city, you should have a good amount of time in which you can stop the march from going home and go to the next nearest node. So as an example, let's pretend that this march right here finished up the caravan. Cool, recall. If I don't pay attention to it, it'll go home and I'll waste the time of marching back and forth. What I should be doing is catching in my eye that it's marching back and sending it to the next node. This is why I personally prefer to send my one gathering march out when I send a gathering march first. Why? Because I want to make sure that I can see that it's returning. And when I see that it's returning, even if I'm wasted a whole minute of it marching from here to here and passing this node, if I manage to catch it in here, by sending it to this caravan right here, I saved the time of marching home and then back to the node. Make sure you're sending a full march to go gather. Send it as far as you can, but remember to bring it back home at the end. And make sure that you're not getting hit on a tile. If while you're chaining, someone catches you and hits you on a tile and destroys you on the tile, everything goes to waste. But if you get caught in a tile, you get out of it, and then you get hit on the open field, your caravans are safe. This is why the final tip is not only keep chaining back home more and more of these caravans, aka resource nodes, but in general, make sure you're keeping an eye on your one march. You're sending a full march, gathering as many nodes as you can, and get the free points. Believe it or not, gathering is super important in Ark of Osiris. Take my word for it or don't. It took me a whole Osiris League season to convince Chisco that it's a must, and it is a must. The top tier wins matches with provisions sometimes. What do you guys think about these tips? Do you have any other awesome tips for our community to get better at Ark of Osiris? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. I'm Gekko. I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you again for all your continuous support, for sticking around with me through the tough times. I would really appreciate if you guys shared this video out to all your friends, Alliance, Discords, whatever it is. Let's get some new people into our community, and as well as catch some of the old ones who decided to leave us along the way. You all, though, who stuck around, smash the like on the video because YouTube loves that stuff. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me maintain my dream alive, even though tough times are happening and in real life per se. I'll see you guys sooner rather than later. Take care again, and again, thank you. Peace.